皆さんこんにちは、ケントです。A lot of English speakers probably learned that haikus are 3-line poems with the first line having 5 syllables, the second line having 7, and the third having 5 again. Well, that's not how they teach it in Japan, and I think it's got it fundamentally wrong. Let me explain. So what is a syllable? A syllable is one way to organize speech sounds. It's a unit of measurement that is usually made up of one vowel and optionally a consonant before it and or after it. Just to give an example, go is 1 syllable, special is 2 syllables, accident is 3 syllables. Now, let's take an example like the word Lawson, the name of one of the most popular convenience store chains in Japan, which, by the way, started in the US, and if you want to find out more about US companies that died in the US but are thriving in Japan, hit that icon up there. Anyway, in English, you'd count 2 syllables, la-son. But in Japanese, the intuitive way to separate the word Lawson is ro-son, 4 beats. What we did right there was count 4 Mora. Mora is the unit that makes up the Japanese language. Now, to clarify, Mora and syllables exist in both English and Japanese, but many linguists agree that Japanese is classified as a Mora-timed language while English is classified as a stress-timed or syllable-timed language. What this means is that while syllables are what keeps rhythm in English, Mora is what keeps rhythm in Japanese. Now, a side note, I'm saying Mora because this is the term English-speaking linguists use to describe these units. In Japanese, this is also known as on, especially within the context of haikus. It's important to know this because standard haikus are poems that are defined by a rhythm in the original Japanese. The rhythm is made up of 5 Mora, 7 Mora, then 5 Mora. This rhythm, by the way, is considered to be played on top of an internal 8-beat pattern repeated 3 times. First, this is an 8-beat pattern repeated 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Let's hear that again. 1, 2, 3. 24 beats in total. Now, how does a 5-7-5 pattern fit into this, and how does it sound? If we play a sound in the first 5 beats of the first set of 8, the first 7 beats of the second set of 8, and the first 5 beats of the third set of 8, we get the haiku pattern of 5-7-5, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You hear that rhythm, right? That is the basic rhythm of haiku. Now let's take one of the most famous haikus by Basho, Furuike ya kawazu tobikomu mizu no oto. Hear that rhythm? Let's make it clear by putting it over the beat. Furuike ya kawazu tobikomu mizu no oto. Furuike ya kawazu tobikomu mizu no oto. I hope you now understand how rhythmical haiku is. But the problem is, this rhythm doesn't translate when you translate the definition of haiku like it's widely taught. Namely, here's the definition of a standard Japanese haiku. A 3-line poem made up of 5 Mora in the first line, 7 Mora in the second line, 5 Mora in the third line, and 1 word that represents a season. Now, when people translated this rule into English, it's clear that they figured, Mora is a way Japanese people split up their parts of words. We have something just like that called syllables. Okay, let's just switch the word Mora with the word syllable and call it a day. So we got an English definition that goes like this. A 3-line poem made up of 5 syllables in the first line, 7 syllables in the second line, 5 syllables in the third line. Notice that in this definition, the seasonal word is omitted as well. Anyway, just replacing the word Mora with syllables causes a problem, because in English, not all syllables are stressed. So even if a poem has 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and then 5 syllables, the rhythm is just not going to be the same as a 5 Mora, 7 Mora, and 5 Mora rhythm. For example, the word refrigerator has 5 syllables. So this is a haiku that follows the rules. Refrigerator. Huge, huge refrigerator, refrigerator. It follows the rules, but it doesn't have that distinct 5-7-5 rhythm. Now, there's a bunch of rules that govern syllable stress in English, but in general, content words are usually stressed while function words aren't. Content words are words that have meaning, like verbs, adjectives, nouns, and adverbs. Function words are words that have little meaning on their own, like pronouns, prepositions, articles, conjunctions, and qualifiers. Like the word the. It doesn't really mean much on its own, but when used in conjunction with a noun like apple, the apple, it gives you an idea of being specific or not. Let me illustrate with the sentence, cows eat grass. All three of these words are content words. Now let's try saying it in rhythm. Cows eat grass. Cows eat grass. Cows eat grass. You can hear how each syllable lines up with the rhythm, right? Now let's add a few more function words to the sentence. The cows eat the grass. Let's see how that lines up when we try to put it onto the rhythm. The cows eat the grass. The cows eat the grass. The cows eat the grass. Can you hear how intuitively I still put cows and eat and grass on the rhythm? It's because intuitively English speakers tend to stress the words that are content words. Let's add more function words. The cows would have eaten the grass. Let's take a listen. The cows would have eaten the grass. The cows would have eaten the grass. The cows would have eaten the grass. See, I intuitively still put cows and eat and grass on the rhythm. Even when I added 4 words and 4 syllables, my intuition was to still stress the amount of content words. So if we want to preserve the rhythm of haiku, as suggested in the standard rules of Japanese haiku, my proposal is that we shouldn't be counting syllables, but rather the natural rhythms of stress and de-stress English speakers intuitively add to their speech. Here's a haiku I wrote following that rule. Cows eat grass all the time. So much grass that the grass is all gone. Cows eat grass all the time. Cows eat grass all the time. So much grass that the grass is all gone. Cows eat grass all the time. Now, let me be clear. That's a crappy poem. But you can hear how with this rule, it preserves the rhythm of 5-7-5. And that's my point here. The basic rules of haiku in Japanese also represents a rhythm that was never translated into English. And that's one of the many reasons why the basic rules of haiku often taught to English speakers are fundamentally wrong. But I must admit we're kind of missing the bigger point here, because even Japanese haiku is not governed by a strict rule like 3 lines, 5-7-5 patterns, having a seasonal word, that kind of stuff. That's merely the basic form, and breaking that form is part of the art. One of the most memorable haikus I've ever read was this one by Ozaki Hosai, Seki o shite mo hitori. It translates to, even when coughing, I'm alone. It's 1 line. There's no word representing a season. It was written at the late stages of his life, right before he died alone of lung disease. It's just 9 beats, but it conveys a strong message. Yes, haiku has a standard form, but haiku is not all about being able to fit that form. It's about distilling human experience concisely. The sense of wonder you feel when you see a sunrise, the sense of crippling loneliness we sometimes feel as we live through our life. It's about taking those experiences and sculpting them into a short poem. It's about giving you a moment to reflect. And that doesn't need to be on a specific rhythm. Sometimes breaking that rhythm is exactly what you need to do. That's why I want to emphasize that while the basic rules of haiku were not translated correctly into English from Japanese, and while the basic rhythm of haiku was never really conveyed into English, in the end, that's okay. As long as you understand the essence of what makes a haiku a haiku. There are some brilliant English haikus that don't follow the rules. This is one by Jack Kerouac. Snow in my shoe, abandoned, sparrow's nest. I think it conveys a feeling very well, and it gives you a time to reflect, and that's what it's all about. So I hope that you now understand that the original Japanese basic rules of haiku codifies not only the length of a poem, but also a rhythm. And that the basic rules of haiku in English, that is a translation of those rules, did not do a good job of conveying that rhythm. But ultimately, haiku isn't about counting words or rhythms. It's about creating a moment of reflection concisely. Speaking of which, today I want to feature Takahiro Dunn, who goes by Hiroi Kojima. He is an English teacher in Sagamihara, Japan. He shoots short videos that does an amazing job capturing moments of moments of silence and pause that give you time to appreciate your surroundings and reflect on yourself. He's been adding haikus to them, and I think his videos are a perfect example of what a haiku is. A concise encapsulation of a moment, of a feeling. Have a listen to one of his videos.
夕うなぎや鳥は家から招きます。
Isn't that nice? In a world filled with constantly updating TikToks, Instagrams, Twitters, and YouTubers constantly yelling at you, Takahiro is providing moments of pause to reflect. Give him a follow. His Instagram handle is in the description below, and I guarantee you, it will fill your feed with more moments of ma. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions on what kind of content I should explore, please leave a comment below. I also have a Twitter and an Instagram. If you would like to follow me there, that'll be great. They're in the description below too. I'll be updating the channel with new videos every week. If you want to check those out, hit that subscribe button, man. Thank you.